If Niccolo Machiavelli were alive today, he would not be writing books. He would be managing an empire of influence. He would not be posting on social media or sharing on platforms. He would be a person behind the scenes, skillfully pulling the strings so that you would believe it was fate. In a world obsessed with visibility, Machiavelli would dominate through invisibility. And today, I will show you exactly how he would do it. Not with quotes, but with doctrine. 21 psychological principles for complete control based on what Machiavelli would do if he were among us. People judge more with their eyes than with their hands. Control how they see you, and you control their actions. Rule number 1. Always let them underestimate you. Machiavelli understood that power is safest when it is hidden. Today, everyone rushes to prove their significance, to showcase their achievements, to assert their superiority, to show that they are the smartest person in the room. But Machiavelli would not enter loudly. He would enter last, first observing, speaking when no one expects it. He would say what no one else would dare to say, and in this way, he would control the room, remaining unnoticed until it was too late. Let them think you are quiet. Let them believe you are harmless. Let them assume you are insignificant, because when they believe you pose no threat, they completely expose themselves. And that is when you strike from a position they were not prepared for. Rule number 2. Charm is more dangerous than truth. In a hyper-connected society obsessed with appearances, truth does not spread. Perception does. Machiavelli knew that everything is seen exactly as you appear. Few test who you really are, so he would not waste time proving his honesty. He would spend it creating an illusion. He would smile in boardrooms while simultaneously sowing seeds of misinformation. He would charm his enemies, instilling in them false confidence, and disarm them through his charisma. This is the art of it. Not to be good, but to appear good. You do not need to be honest. You need to be convincing. Do not correct how they see you. Use it. Let them crown you as a hero while you quietly rewrite the ending. Rule number 3. Create ambiguity intentionally. Most people struggle for understanding. Machiavelli would do the opposite. He would leave people guessing. One day cold, the next generous. Sometimes silent, sometimes intense. Not because he is confused, but because they are confused. Confusion breeds obsession. Obsession breeds focus. Focus creates influence when people cannot define you. They begin to study you. They analyze every word. They overvalue silence. They start to revolve around your ambiguity, trying to make sense of what they cannot control. In this lies the power. You are no longer just a person in their mysteries. The mysteries become obsessions. Machiavelli would say that the people you control the most are those who think about you the most. So stop over-explaining. Stop clarifying your position. Stop filling every silence. Leave gaps. Speak in riddles. Smile when they ask questions you refuse to answer. Because confusion breeds curiosity, and curiosity becomes gravitational. Control what they see. Hide what you are doing. In a world where every move is broadcast, Machiavelli would operate in the shadows. Everyone is building their personal brands, posting updates, sharing successes, showing proof. But once people see how you act, they begin to prepare their countermoves. They form alliances. They create narratives. They set traps in your path. What would Machiavelli do? He would keep his actions visible but hide his true intentions. He would appear transparent while concealing his real mechanisms. A prince must always be ready to act against loyalty, against charity, against humanity, against religion, to preserve the state. Translation: seem noble, act ruthlessly. Do not reveal your strategies. Do not explain your systems. Do not tell people what you are building until you have already built it. Let them think you are slow. Let them think you are resting, and then surpass them with a sudden move they were not prepared for. Control the flow of information. Guard the factory. Rule number 5. Create a mask, then allow it to crack. Machiavelli understood what all manipulators now use. Perfection is forgotten, flaws attract, so you build a mask. You become confident, balanced, clever, calm. But one day, let it crack. Show a controlled imperfection, a sharp word, a calculated vulnerability, a sudden insight that reveals you are much deeper than they assumed. Why? Because people are not obsessed with what they already understand. They are obsessed with what seems unattainable. Give them 90% of the story and then fall silent. They will chase the remaining 10% for years. A wise ruler must cultivate the appearance of virtue while being ready to act against it. So be the light, then flicker in and out. Let them glimpse into the abyss, then close the curtain. You will become unforgettable, not because they loved the mask, but because they saw it slip, and now they need to know what lies behind it. Rule number 6. Always speak less than necessary. When people talk too much, they reveal their weakness, their need for acknowledgement, their fear of being misunderstood, their emotional dependence on clarity. But the one who speaks precisely and stops before explaining too much dominates the room. Machiavelli did not say to be misunderstood. He said to create distance. He used words like blades, not like blankets. In negotiations, in disputes, in moments of tension, he would say one sentence, at most 2. Then he would allow silence to speak louder, and in that silence, fear begins. Why? Because now they start to project. They begin to think that he knows why he is not reacting, what he is planning next. You said nothing, but they have written a novel in their heads, and you are the villain they cannot outsmart. So you speak with authority, just enough. Not to satisfy, not to impress, but to control the rhythm of thought. Then pause. Let them lean in closer. Let them wonder. Let them sweat. Because the real mystery is forged in the space between words. Rule number 7 blurs the line between threat and ally. In the modern world, people are obsessed with wanting to know who is honorable, who is an ally, and who is an enemy, who is safe, and who poses a threat. Machiavelli would never allow them to gain such confidence. He would dine with enemies, publicly praise their virtues, and defend those he secretly planned to eliminate. Why? Because when people consider you dangerous, they prepare for war. But when they think you are neutral, they relax. And the best moments for action are when they are asleep. A lion cannot protect itself from traps, and a fox cannot fend off wolves. So one must be both a fox to recognize traps and a lion to scare off the wolves. One must be both. So you praise the enemy's idea right before you outmaneuver him. You agree with the critic just before you replace him in silence. You appear passive until your absence becomes a weapon. Be kind, be supportive, be disarming until the moment it is time to act. By then, it will be too late to stop you. The modern translation: speak less, smile more, play a neutral role, and then eliminate them while they still do not realize you represent a looming threat. Rule number 8. Make them feel safe right before you seize power. The simplest way to eliminate someone is not to fight them, but to make them believe that you are not a threat, that you are on their side, that you want them to win. And when they finally trust you, you act. Machiavelli would study your habits, imitate your language, praise your ideas, and gently disagree. He would never make you feel like you are losing. He would make you think that you are leading him. And as soon as you feel safe, he would act decisively, swiftly, and cleanly. And by the time you feel the betrayal, he would already be sitting in your place. People are so simple and prone to yielding to immediate needs that a deceiver will never be without victims. So tell them what they want to hear, show them what they want to see, and take what they never thought you would touch while smiling. Rule number 9. Make people dependent, then disappear. If Machiavelli wanted to dominate someone, he would not threaten them. He would help them in such a way that they would slowly and silently become dependent. He would teach them things that no one else could, solve problems that no one else solved, provide stability that they did not deserve, become indispensable, never ask for recognition, and then leave. Not in anger, not with vengeance, but simply leave. Why? Because nothing destroys people faster than the sudden absence of what they have become accustomed to. People remain honest only out of necessity. When they have freedom of action, they become dishonest. So Machiavelli would become your necessary illusion, someone you thought you did not need until you lost them. This is how you become unforgettable. Create a void, make them rely on you, and then withdraw your hand halfway. They will not hate themselves. They will hate how much they need you and will spend years trying to fill that space. Rule number 10. Use service as a weapon. Most people offer help to be loved. Machiavelli would offer help to create leverage. If he gave something, he would not allow them to forget it. He did not collect debts through force. He collected them through his presence. You would feel like a debtor. You would feel small, experiencing a psychological imbalance that you could not correct. That was the essence of it. You offer them the shortest path to solving their advantages, then pull back slightly. You ask for nothing, simply allowing this imbalance to gnaw at them from within until they begin to repay you with loyalty, services, information, or submission. And if they forget, you gently remind them. Remember that time when just enough for them to realize that you own a part of their pride. Services, when used with patience, become psychological chains, and the longer they remain unrecognized, the heavier they feel. Rule number 11. Create loyalty by allowing others to compromise for you. People think that loyalty is earned through kindness, but that is not the case. Machiavelli understood that the best way to make someone loyal is to have them make a compromise in your favor. You do not force betrayal, you allow it to happen. Let them share something they should not. Let them break a small rule for your benefit. Let them speak poorly of someone to gain your approval. You never ask, you never give. You simply leave the door slightly open, and they walk in. Now they are connected to you not through admiration, but through involvement. People defend what they have compromised for, so when someone betrays others for your sake, they invest in you. The more they invest, the less they can afford to lose you. This is how Machiavelli created followers, not through charisma, but through entanglement. Rule 12. Destroy alliances from within. Machiavelli did not just outplay individuals. He dismantled entire networks, but not through confrontation, rather through erosion. He did not attack the alliance. He infiltrated it. He planted seeds of doubt and discrepancies in values. The one who makes another powerful destroys themselves. Thus, he defined the strongest bond in a group and slowly infected it with suspicion. I heard what he said about you. Did you notice how she never truly defends you? I am not saying anything. Just observe their actions. That is all that is needed. There is no need to destroy the alliance. You simply make them do it themselves. Let their fear of betrayal do the work for you, because once trust within the group collapses, the entire structure falls apart without a single blow. Rule 13. Reflect their insecurity back at them. If you want someone to obey without realizing it, make them feel seen, but only in those aspects that confirm their self-doubt. Not through insults, not through criticism, but through gentle, carefully chosen comments. You are truly brave, especially for someone who is not used to attention. You always manage, even when people do not take you seriously. You do excellent work, even if your confidence does not always show. What do these statements do? They evoke clarity from their depths, and as soon as you establish yourself in their minds as someone who understands them, they begin to attach themselves. They yield. They start to move under the influence of your emotional gravity. Machiavelli realized that fear and uncertainty are far more effective than threats, as threats provoke defensive reactions, while uncertainty opens doors from within. And once you are inside, you become the only voice they trust. Rule 14. Never hold a knife in your hands. In any betrayal, in any decision, in any cowardly elimination, Machiavelli had one golden rule: let others do the dirty work. He orchestrated the outcomes, influenced decisions, but was never in the spotlight. When someone needed to be eliminated, he created the impression that they were unreliable from the start. When it was necessary to remove a rival, he allowed them to self-destruct through precise provocation. When chaos needed to be instigated, he supplied both sides with information and then stepped aside before the fire ignited. Why? Because if you are seen as the executor, you provoke enemies. But if you are seen as the inevitable alternative after someone else's failure, you gain followers. This is Machiavellian mastery, the illusion of clean hands. You orchestrated everything, you controlled everyone, but no one can prove it. And even if they suspect you, you are already sitting where someone else used to be. Rule 15. Say nothing and allow everything to unfold completely. In any room, the most influential person is not the one who speaks the loudest. It is the one who says nothing and observes everything. Why? Because silence is a weapon, a disguised passivity. Machiavelli would enter the modern world of podcasts, tirades, and digital noise and would win by being the only person who does not broadcast. He would not fill the silence. He would allow others to drown in it. That is how he would use it. If someone insults you, you say nothing. If someone asks your opinion, you smile and let them continue talking. If someone tries to provoke an emotion from you, you blink, remain silent, and do not react. This silence makes them talk more, and the more they talk, the more they reveal their doubts, their weaknesses. You do not need to interrogate them. They will tell everything themselves to fill the space that you have turned into a weapon. Never try to win through force what can be won through deception. And silence is the most elegant form of deception. Rule 16. Be unpredictable, but only when it truly matters. Machiavelli would never be inconsistent, but he would be unreliable at critical moments. Why? Because predictability breeds manipulation. If they always know when you will respond, they will control the pace. If they know how you react under pressure, they can plan provocations. If they know that you will always take the high road, they will walk that path. But if sometimes you forgive, and sometimes you disappear, if sometimes you speak, and sometimes you let them drown in silence, if sometimes you intervene, and sometimes you watch them self-destruct, they will fear you not for your aggression, but for your unpredictability. Machiavelli understood that people are driven by two primary impulses, either love or fear. But fear arises from uncertainty, and a person whom they cannot predict is someone they cannot prepare for. Rule 17. Make your presence felt, even in absence. To dominate psychologically, you do not need to be constantly visible. They should feel your influence even when you are not around. How? Become a benchmark, a point of reference, a shadow in every conversation. They doubt their decisions because you have corrected them before. They cannot celebrate victories because they ponder how you would act. They do not fully trust others because they remember how accurate your judgment was. This is a psychological brand based not on content, but on energy. You leave your mark by how you behave while still in the room. Reserved, observant, controlled, and surgically precise. Therefore, when you leave, they do not forget you. They compare everyone else to you. Machiavelli did not need to fire people. He created such a powerful memory that even in his absence they continued to follow his rules. Rule 18. Never threaten. Let fear do the work for you. Threats provoke resistance. Machiavelli did not need to say, "I will destroy you." He allowed others to wonder whether he could do it. These doubts create psychological pressure, far more destructive than words. How does this work today? You do not say, "I can expose you." You simply pause when they lie and watch them squirm. You do not say, "I will ruin your chances." You just make one phone call and say nothing more. You do not say, "You are finished." You simply disappear from their world and let them panic at the thought of what you might do. Why? Because fear based on imagination is stronger than fear based on information. Once they start fearing what you might do, they begin to strive to earn your approval to avoid it. Rule 19. Delay revenge until it becomes destructive. Machiavelli did not believe in quick retaliation. He believed in observation, waiting, allowing the offense to mature until the perfect moment. Wounds should be inflicted immediately to lessen their heat. Benefits should be given gradually. This means that when someone wronged him, he did not react. He studied them, allowed them to relax, and let them believe they had escaped punishment. Then, one day, when they least expected it, he acted purely, calculatedly, and absolutely. Because together, it is not just punishment, it is control. When you react instantly, you allow the other person to set the pace. But when you delay, they live in paranoia. They cannot enjoy their victories, they cannot sleep soundly. They fear every quiet moment, and this fear causes more damage than any emotional outburst. Rule 20. Become a system, not a person. Machiavelli did not want to be loved. He wanted to be respected, not because of charm, but because his removal meant the removal of structure. This is a modern approach. Stop being a name. Start being a network. Ideas, standards, strategies, embedded in how others operate. Teaching others to think like you. Make yourself indispensable in systems that no one else understands. Invest your voice in solutions that will resonate even after you are gone. Even if they do not want you, they will not be able to function without you. This is how a legacy is created. You do not just instill fear when you are present. You remain in systems that they cannot erase. This is not just influence. It is a constant psychological control. Rule number 21. Make them afraid to utter your name. The ultimate form of power is not recognition. It is haunting. Machiavelli would be someone people would refer to indirectly. You know who I mean. Do not end up like him. You know how that ended last time. They did not dare to speak his name because even mentioning him proved to be a challenge, something greater than they could handle. You do not become a trend. You endure. You do not win arguments. You change the atmosphere. You become someone they fear to mention because everyone in the room already knows the consequences. If Machiavelli were alive today, he would not be shouting on the internet. He would not be seeking followers. He would be hiding within power structures, shaping narratives behind smiles and silence. He would be the voice in your head saying, "Do not react. Do not reveal yourself. Let them speak first. And most importantly, do not chase respect. Position yourself so that they cannot breathe without it." This is how you win. Not through infamy, but through legacies they cannot stop.